Hello. So it is a Monday, and I think it's the 29th? 28th? I don't know anymore. I am April Roane. Most of you jumping on know that. I got all dressed up for this. No, I wanted to hold space today with each of you, for any of you that are hopping on, to do some live readings, to hold space for spirit. It's important. It's important. It's important for all of us. Each of us should be checking in with ourselves on a daily basis. The problem is most of us do check in, but then we dip, we avoid it, we acknowledge that this is crazy, this can't be happening, I can't believe we're going through this, but then we don't stay there. We don't check in. So, hello, Miss Eleanor. So, checking in with the self is paramount. It is pivotal. Everything we knew about spirituality up until this point, it feels like it. Come on, we're starting over. We're stepping into life fresh. We're stepping into the self fresh. We're stepping into a new day fresh. So if Spirit is saying that, how many of us are waking up every day with going into the same BS, the same mindset, right? So Spirit evidently wants us to refreshen ourselves. Go back to being curious about what it is that makes you thrive. Remember, you are a growing and evolving being. What you thought, what you loved, what you liked 20 years ago may not be the same thing. I find, hello, beautiful. I find that my view of God has changed. You know, growing up Catholic, it was the man upstairs with the white beard, and I'm mad at that God. I'm real mad at that right now. So soften. Spirit says soften it. You know, if it's the idea that's causing you upset, right? We should be connected to our source. Self, source, higher power, universe, nature, all of it is connected. So what is it that will bring us home again? How do we check in with the self and stay there? Evidently, we're all in trouble. Spirit says we get there, we acknowledge, and we dip. So let's start quickly with a little breath, okay? If you're jumping in, welcome. I used to do this daily all the time. I used to have a radio show. I had a local class. Life happens. You become transformed, hung upside down, you know. So it's really good to get back to my roots. That was just the post lady, thank God. I'm like, who's in my yard? All right, so let's take a quick breath, okay? Go ahead and close your eyes. Give yourself permission to enter your sacred space. Ooh, take a breath in. You could feel it. It's like your soul, your psyche likes it here. Exhale. Don't question why, how, if. Just be present. Take a breath in. Hold that breath. Let your body absorb all that is needed. There's my hope, literally. This girl, I don't know where you came from, but it's been years, and I love you. Take another breath in. Breathe that breath of life into this body. The body has a shelf life, and this breath does not. Exhale. Go back to regular breathing. If you want to keep breathing deeply, absolutely. Keep breathing deeply. That's the whole point of this. To check in with yourself means to be present and to choose that which sets you free. Most of us are encaged in our own prisons of the mind. You know, just because this happened, just because we went through this trauma, just because it was something that happened that was pivotal for our life and it was horrible, doesn't mean that we're still there. Often we don't step into the transformation that life has created. It's new, it's scary. Most of the time we're angry. We haven't processed emotions from what we just went through. In fact, a lot of us carry this for years. There's my gorgeous Gail. So we carry this for years, traumatic event after traumatic event after traumatic event. And then here we are, midlife or maybe older, and we're sitting with this treasure trunk of trauma. Treasure trunk of trauma. I love how Spirit said that. You are sitting right now in this treasure trunk of trauma. Just breathe into that, because it makes me want to vomit. But God has jokes. But truthfully, if we do not allow the trauma to transform us, then we will always suffer. We will always be stuck in the trauma. Doesn't mean that we have to like it. Doesn't mean that it didn't hurt. Doesn't mean that it wasn't scary. Doesn't mean that we are not angry. We're not angry. It just means that we're at a point in our life, in our path, where we get to choose what we're going to do with that treasure trunk of trauma, right? For many of us, we have dealt with it. We've carried around, we've talked about it, gone to therapy about it, but we've never gone into it like a treasure trunk. We've never gone into that trauma and unpacked it with the respect, with the acknowledging that this shit changed us. That's why we're tired, we're exhausted now, because we're sitting with this heavy treasure trunk of trauma on our lap, and Spirit is saying, open it, use it, cry, go through those emotions. Don't cling, to the ladder on the side of the pool. You're supposed to live life. That's why we're struggling. We're suffering, because we're not moving forward. We haven't processed what that trauma has done to us. We haven't given it a voice. Maybe some of us have. Maybe we started drinking again. Maybe we use other vices. Some of us overshop. Some of us have too much sex. I wish. No. Some of us have not enough. Some of us avoid it at all costs. These are the areas that have transformed us. So we need to go into those. Hello, Danielle. So the card I picked for all of us overall for this week, actually, I didn't pick it. It was one that was picked. It's beautiful. It says, and I want you all, you guys are only here because of law of attraction, divine, but I want your soul to receive this message, which means tell the ego to shut up. Thank you. Let us all tell the ego right now, muchas gracias, pero get out of here. Thank you very much, but you're not welcome right now. Okay, let this space be sacred and soft. If you feel your body relaxing for a moment, give yourself permission to do what's natural. That's what's called being. Just be. Most of us can't not pick the scab. We sit here and have to come down to deal with the trauma. Okay? So just let your soul, that relief, receive this message. Spirit is saying, I've got you right now in all the turbulence. I've got you so much right now. Right now, right when you think you've been walking alone, right when you've been angry with me, I've got you. As I rest in the sacred womb, I heal. So when Spirit says, I've got you, and then the card is, as I rest in the sacred womb, I heal. Again, the ego's going to start showing up. Sacred womb, my ours. That ego has to go on a little trip for a moment while we heal, while we realign. That breath will always do it. The breath will always bring you back to your alignment. People go, it's too hard. That was so simple. Just remember that my breath will bring me back. My breath will rescue me from my ego. Woo! So as I rest in the sacred womb. So Spirit is saying, I've got you. The turbulence, the worry, the noise is so loud right now. I just want you to rest. Guys, that's what faith is. And I want each of you to understand religion is only an expression by choice of that faith. So I could care less about religion. Mad respect. Please, again, born and raised Catholic, highly Christian, the real kind. But I really like the spirituality behind each religion because it's all the same. So spirit, higher power, universe, your guides, your loved one, love, whatever that energy is, that life, that force, that movement says rest. Rest. You ever watch a toddler, a child, fighting rest, and they're angry, they're pissy. Oh my God, you know they need a nap. They finally take a nap and they wake up and they are, oh, happy they have returned. Spirit is saying, you rest in the sacred womb. Rest in the sacred womb. So wherever we're chilling and resting, at the bar, at the mall, I mean, clearly, hey, amen. However, Spirit says rest in the sacred womb. Where are we not going that is refreshing to our soul? Are we not going out? We always say, I love walking. You haven't walked in 20 years. I love nature. I do yoga in nature. 20 years ago. If that child is kept alive from his nap, he is going to short circuit. If we do not use the intuition that we have naturally, we will short circuit. That's the only reason you're popping on now, because you ain't listening to your team. Same here, because I'm here giving the message. When we rest in the sacred womb entails contained. Holding while something great happens. A space, a place where you are safe, where you feel safe. Well, I don't care if it's the second pew at temple, at church. I don't care if it's the beach. You need to go. You need to answer and nurture and feed your soul. You need to let yourself heal. Trauma changes us, but we cannot change until we allow the healing to commence. Spirit says rest in the sacred womb. Go, cry, heal, soothe. As I rest in the sacred womb, I heal. The word heal, okay? Each of you close your eyes. I want you to visualize the word heal, H-E-A-L, for my clairvoyance. I want you to feel what that word feels like, heal. How does that feel for my clairsentience? I want you to know, what does heal mean to you? You just know it in your bones, your claircognizance. I know this energy is healing. Can you hear the word in your mind's eye? Clairaudience. There's my gorgeous Kelly. And I love this because each of you were going around as I was saying that, using those senses because you have them, because you're naturally, spiritually human. Okay? When you rest, and you rest in a space that is conducive to alignment, to healing, you will heal. When we choose, using the free will we have been given, when we choose to stay in environments with people, places, or things that are not conducive to our healing, our realignment, our surrender, our relief, we cannot get mad at spirit or miracles for not stepping in. I'm suffering. I can't get out of the... No, you are choosing not to get out of this. It's going to be hard either way. If you bounce, it's going to be hard because you're stepping into change. You are embracing the unknown. You are trusting your flow. If you stay knowing it is dysfunction and you know it is unhealthy, and this is situations, this is also the war zone of our mind. If we choose to stay here, we cannot get mad if we're not rescued. That's what free will is. We are powerful. We are here to be strong and wise and fragile and tender. We need to own it all. We got to stop blaming everything outside of us. When you rest in the sacred womb, you heal. When you rest in the sacred womb, you may not see it if it's backwards, but you heal. You heal. Now go back to the word heal. What does that feel like for you? Stop trying to read books and then cram your experience into their teaching. Okay? We're supposed to take the teaching and apply it to our experience. Your experience is unique to you. What you need to heal may not be what they need to heal. And that's hard because when we're around people we love and care about, friends, loved ones, we care so much that we want to put our healing on them, whether we hold them responsible or we know what they need to heal. Spirit says, no, you rest. You get out of the way. Get out of your way, get out of their way. And you'll find most of us do not know how to let go and stay back. We all have FOMO, fear of missing out. I gotta be the healer. I'm gonna be the watcher. I'm gonna be the creator. I need to be in it. I can't miss it. We need to rest or we will short circuit. Where do you think? There's my gorgeous Robin. I'm kissing and smooching your face. I hope you can feel it. Give yourself what you need to heal. And intuitively, you know it because you just felt it, you saw it, you knew it, you heard it, you did it. I just guided you. People go, I don't know. You did it. I just walked you through it. You felt it. You saw it. Oh, it feels good. Now, the ego would have been present and you would have heard the ego saying, you see, you can't even do this. You don't have the time. This is BS. Kick the ego out. A much mad respect to that ego. Thank you. You're my balls. That's what I tell my ego. You're my balls. You are what's keeping me just on the line from staying out of prison, okay? The ego needs to step back when we need moments of rest and wisdom. Guys, sometimes stepping into this spiritually human experience is like learning to drive a stick shift. I don't know about you, but that was some of the scariest moments of my life. But we did it. Or we found someone to do it. And either way, we surrendered and went on with the plan. We've got to do that in this moment of turbulence. That's what Spirit keeps calling it, evidently. Each of us are in a moment of turbulence. And Spirit says, as I rest in the sacred womb, I heal. So evidently, we, warriors, light leaders, we need some rest. Now, this is not saying people go, I'm a people person, I heal, and I've got clients, and I'm a life coach, and you have to take care of whatever that is before you step into traffic. You are your marketing. You are your product. So how dare you not heal your own trauma? How dare you not go into your treasure trunk of trauma and then go out there and expect them to do it and succeed? You will not have returns. So your best bet as someone in the public eye in any aspect is to go into your treasure trunk of trauma. Yeah, well, I'm in it every day. And look at what's happened. That's bitter. True, bitter. Okay, I mean, if you saw a friend or a family member say that, you'd be like, why are they so angry? Exactly. Spirit said, could you rest so you could process some of these emotions that trauma caused? So you could love yourself through this? I don't care if it was 20 years ago. Could you just stop and let me show up and love you? Not worth a shit to anyone else if you are not okay yourself. No, and as a light being, all of us are on this watching this, even if you're watching a recording of it, all of us. That's our first go-to. We want to go out there and pump air into someone else that's losing air. That's just what we do. Empaths, get out there. Second nature. I mean, we will burn the candle at both ends to save a whole town. I'm watching it with the flooding and the aftermath in South Texas. But as a species, we don't know how the hell to recover, to replenish without guilt and shame. And Spirit is showing up. We say you don't show up, God. Are you going to answer my prayer? Showing up, saying out of my big mouth, rest. I got you. Could you stop for a moment? Technically, the energy of life and the flow and God, higher power, universal law, I could care less what you classify it as, is the ultimate healer. That energy knows best. So if Spirit's telling you rest, stop, go to the womb that is sacred, wherever that is for you. Find your craft room again, get in it and heal. Leave the blinds alone. Stop picking the scab. Put the phone down. We don't know how to do that. Part of that is because of the world we're in. We are empaths. We are energy beings. We are going to be sensitive to shifts in energy. And right now the world is crazy. I mean, there's more humans on this planet than ever before documented in history. And we're all going mad. So that's a lot of drama at 1 o'clock in the morning. So we have to go back. Spirit's having us go back and rest. While the world's burning, you go back and rest so you can heal. And in that space, let whatever comes up, comes up. Cry. Use your resources, whatever those are. Journal, a reading, a session, with a therapist, a psychotherapist, a counselor. I mean, right now, those three things are three very different things, and they could change your healing. But the basics, are you breathing and are you present in your breath? Are you grateful? No, I'm pissed. I'm angry, right? Again, we've got to make peace with it. We can't joke about it. We can't post funny memes about it anymore. We've got to own it. We've got to own it. This is what trauma did to me. Here's where I'm at. And if I can't love this first, no one else can. My path isn't going to open. That lottery ticket isn't just going to... No, I'm going to be struggling and suffering in this cage that I stay in because I am not willing to embrace what trauma did to me, and I am the result. We've got to love the result because our soul went through it for a reason. And the human being needs to be loved. And often that human being was never loved through it. So stop putting it on everyone else and own your healing. Own what you have done. Own how beautiful and powerful it is to be in your present moment, to choose, to kick the ego out and receive what is left. What is that? I mean, when you explore that in your 20s versus exploring it in your 40s, whoa. So if any of you watching, which I'm sure the majority of us are over the age of 40, we're like in this, there's my gin. We're in this midlife thing. And like guys joke about it, midlife crisis, they get a younger girlfriend or a car. We don't have that luxury, right? We don't really talk about it. What? Midlife is a time where a woman arrives at her present moment and questions the F out of everything. You at this point have drastically transformed. And here you are with that awareness of all of that trauma. What are you going to do with it now? In our 20s, I mean, it would have looked a lot like, I mean, you know, we did the ego, we got the bikini, we worked at the gym 50 hours a day. Regardless, we chased dreams we thought would make us happy at times when we really should have just been sitting with how we were feeling. There's my AJ, guys, 73-year-old crisis here. Hey, listen, this woman here has been with me from the very beginning of my spiritual awakening in 2009. And Heather knows AJ. I have watched AJ go through her life and use her guides and use her intuition more than she could trust human beings. I've watched some of you navigate life leaning into your guides and your intuition more than you would your human friends. That is incredibly admirable. I mean, amazing. I don't think we give ourselves enough credit. I think most of us have had to deal with life. I think most of us who are watching this have had to go through trauma. We didn't know it was trauma when we were going through it. No one tells the 7-year-old, hey, what you're experiencing right now is called trauma. So here's what you do. No, we're going to figure that out at midlife. Ta-da! So I'm so glad you're all here. Up until this point, lots of great memories, lots of trauma, lots of experiences that have transformed you into this amazing, powerful being that is receiving all of you in the moment. Yes, I know you can. I know, I've watched it. I've been a part of the conversations between you and your guides. And there are times, AJ, where I wanted to say, no fair. Because my guides were being assholes. So, you know, there you are with your amazing warriors, and mine were at the bar. So, anywho, rest. As I rest in the sacred womb, I heal. So at this time, looking at the topic of like midlife and spirits wanting all of us just to stop for a moment, rest, why all the BS is knocking, I love that spirit saying, even approach midlife, just rest. Go find your sacred womb. I know for Heather, that's the beach. I was born and raised around the ocean. I mean, the Keys, Hollover Beach. I mean, I was born in Florida, right? Heather from West Virginia. Her soul, I mean, she's now back at the beach. Follow where your sacred womb is. Follow it, because you will be able to be replenished along the way while you're unpacking your treasure trunk of trauma. So the whole message right now, clearly, as what was it, more Jerry Springer at the very end, it would be like his summary, is this time period is turbulent. It's got a lot of quaking stuff spirit wants us out of the way from. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Now, I'm not saying if you're not rushing in to help and bring aid, please. Other than that, stay out of the way. Focus back on the sacred womb. At this time of midlife, ages between 40 and I think it's like 70, we're going to go through it different than men, and we're going to go through it in a really deeper, it's more of an internal awareness and a reflection and a re-questioning. So Spirit says, while we're going through this right now, I've got you. Go to your sacred womb. Go to the beach. Go to the forest. Go to the forest. I want to go to Burkittsville, Maryland. My paranormal friends on here, you know why. And if not, you're going to do your homework then. But no, I mean, this is where our hobbies come into play. I find a lot of women during midlife have lost their passion. You know how many times I've Googled, I'm lost. Heather, how many times did I say back then, I'm lost. I'm lost. Guys, we're old souls. I think we were lost when we were born. We were adulting in the womb. So give yourself a chance to just relish in this amazing, vibrant, fragile, wise, intuitive, wicked intuition. All of you, be in your moment and choose it wisely. Choose your moment. Do not future trip and worry, but how am I going to get to my healing, healing, freedom, peace, relief? All of those words really are the same thing. Healing, alignment, peace. What is it you desire? The lottery. Why? Because then it brings me security, peace of mind, peace, relief. It's the same flippin' thing at the end of the day. So a boob job. Why do you want a boob job? Because it's going to make me more confident. And when you're confident, what is that? I'm free. Relief. We are contained in this human body. Guys, speaking of contained in a human body, the most hottest man just jumped on here. I guess he's at work. I saw your message. You left your badge at home. I'm sorry. Relish in your moment. Stay in your sacred space. And if you can't get into it, you can't move into it yet, I don't care. Get in your car and drive to a park. Get outside, walk around the block, get that air in, breathe it in. So many of us feel lost, stuck, midlife, reflection, but we're not breathing. We're not doing anything to let that breath of life flow through us. Learn to surf. Go to Costa Rica. Go rent scooters somewhere. Do something to feel alive. You'll find that you also do healing when you are happy. Think about that. The ego wanted to fight you for a moment. Wait a minute, I'm going to do healing when I'm happy? Don't I have to be happy to start really healing? When you believe it, you'll see it. And that's the hardest part. That's my hardest part. I believe it. That's where those limiting beliefs come from, often from that trauma. Boom, there's a treasure. I need to work on my limiting beliefs. Now there's your homework. You know, when you go through childhood abuse and trauma, period, and for a long period of time, they call that complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Whoop, whoop. You're going to always be in a fight or flight mode. Always, no matter what. Always. Always. In every aspect. And Spirit says, rest. Rest right now. Go find your sacred womb. And guys, my sacred womb today is right here with you. I haven't done a live video in a long time. I definitely did not do any channeling, pulling cards in a long time. And I think that's what the most beautiful thing is about Spirit is, because Spirit and true healing creates unity and community. We all hurt the same. We all lose. We all experience loss. It feels the same despite the details. We need each other. We need each other. Not the law of attraction, where we're all just beating the crap out of each other verbally. You know, misery loves company. If you are acknowledging the dysfunction and the crazy in your life on a daily basis, that is your old soul, your spirit, your intuition telling you, this is not right for me. You have the power and the opportunity to create another chapter. That's hard. Mr. Jeff, hello. So hard, right? Staying stuck, feeling encaged in limiting beliefs because it's how we were raised. For whatever reason, that's how the trauma polished us up. we've got to step into this beautiful, tattered being we are. That's the acceptance part. Doesn't mean I have to love it. Of course you needed it. And of course I needed you. Nothing is ever an accident. That's why I hate all these YouTube videos that are like, you're not passing this right now by accident. Now there's like 50 million of them. And they're using law of attraction and marketing superbly. But that's the best part about each other, is it's spirit. Spirit is that breath. That's why you should always share a breath with people. How are we raised? You walk in, hello. Some of us do that fake, or a little hug. If you're going to hug someone, do it from heart chakra to heart chakra. Okay, so your left side to their left side. Make it a hug. We just stop. How about you go, hi, it's so good to see you. You want to take a breath? You want to share a breath? You both will ground in that moment more than with a hug or a fake air kiss. Yeah. Like, how many times do you actually take note of spirit exchanges throughout your day? Opportunities to share spirit. I do every time I get to kiss my baby. I do every time I get to kiss him, even if it's 2-3 times right when we go to bed. I always tell him, we don't have lips on the other side, right? So when you're on earth with these lips and you get to share them with someone and it makes you feel relief, that's healing. We need to have more willingness to appreciate the moments of healing and spirit exchange and sacred exchange, holy instances throughout the day. If we do that, we are in our sacred womb, but we are also moving full throttle ahead. Think of that. All of a sudden, there's like so much hope now. It's like, what? Yes. I haven't felt this kind of flow in church in years. That says something. We can have this little holy instant connection right now between all of us. And you all feel it. You feel it. You could say one thing real quick, Jeff. Yes. It's almost so exciting and refreshing. Especially if some of us are dealing with depression. I think more of us deal with low-level depression than we realize. In fact, most of us probably were raised in environments where depression was so prevalent, it was normal for us. I think that's why sitting in that silence and peace and joy is alarming for many of us. We don't know what that is. Yes, Jeff, let me know. What do you want to say? Oh, AJ, they will connect with you. I think sometimes we are absent from that sacred space where our guides are. I know I sure have been. And it's really easy when the ego drives, and we can't help it because we're human too, right? Like, just love yourself, poor thing with an ego. Just to remember who we are, that we also have access to this. And then boom, your guides are like, yo, hey, what you doing, right? It's kind of cool. I forget all this stuff until I talk to you guys live. As you talk about always giving kisses every night and saying, I love you, mean a lot to me. I'll send you a message later. Okay, you do that. When people will come back and tell me, hey, you said this, or it isn't me. All of this is through me. So it's nothing more than the awareness that God, life, source, universe, higher power, the ocean, the forest, no matter what that is, it is real and it connects all of us. Dysthymia, one of my favorite diagnoses I have. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Dysthymia. Am I saying it right? So yeah, that was just my message. That was what I was called to do. Kind of pretty cool. Law of attraction is a real thing. It happens 24/7, even when we're dreaming, even when we're showering. I mean, everything that we allow ourselves to entertain in our mind, that's autopilot. When you're driving, where does your mind go? When you're showering, when you're eating, sometimes we zone out. Bring yourself back in. Kind of cool. All right, guys, I'm going to pull one card, and this is from my, I don't even know what the name of this deck is anymore. It's so direct and blunt. It's my favorite. Low-level depression. Yes. Oh, my goodness. I have, drum roll, please. I have resistant depression. I mean, if you think about it, you know, I know it's Arlene. I'm going to forever call you AJ. Just damn. I just am gonna always do it. And I love you, and I don't think you realize how special you are and were in my life. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. So, man, yes. When we are in environments that are not safe, growing up, now, our energy cannot be expansive. Our energy will always be depressed. Just like, oh, Jordan. God, it's so good to see you, girl. Our energy will always be depressed. Think of that. Many of us have grown up in dysfunctional environments for a long period of our life. That's a lot of depression. And so in our midlife, we're being called to step into our glory, and our psyche is like, wait, hold on. We've never really fully lived big. We don't know how to do that because we're still dealing with depression. If you really look up trauma changes your physical brain. It changes your physical brain. I mean, I know some of this is going to be graphic, and I am sorry if it's a trigger warning. I am sorry if it offends anybody. So one of the things I experienced when I was little, and please refrain from saying anything negative, I'd appreciate it, okay? Was the person that hurt me over and over and over and over would get really, really angry, but for years would hit my head, like punch my head, right? And so, look, it is what it is, made me who I am. I'm already at that point, but I've never loved myself, you know, that self. So that's why I think we're all being called to this midlife. Light on. But later in life, I developed this rare neurological disorder called idiopathic intracranial hypertension, also known as pseudotumor cerebri. So it's rare, and it is neurological, and my brain produces a lot of cerebral fluid, but there's nowhere extra for it to leak out. So there's a lot of pressure. My eyesight's always blurry. A lot of times I have constant swishing in my ears, weight issues. They call it a fat girl disorder. Woo! But nonetheless, it is interesting because it's your head. It's your brain. But I also use my brain a lot as a filter in spiritual, reading sessions, moments. So it's just interesting that a lot of the trauma that we go through, we don't ever, ever, ever show up to receive the self when we're ready to receive that self. We critique the process. We're aware of the hurt. We're aware of what took place. But no one's ever received you and said, you beautiful, beautiful, tired, strong, amazing baby girl. No one. We never had that moment. Or you baby boy. No one. A lot of therapy, but it has to come from you, and it has to be authentic. And I think midlife gives us that opportunity to do that, because by this point, we've already had our spiritual asses kicked from here to eternity, so we're ready. And it is freeing, refreshing, relief. It is healing at its finest, which is why I think it happens now. And all of a sudden, there are treasures in the trauma. I'm not saying I want and expect any child to go through that. And I love the person that hurt me because they were human. They were so human. But it transformed me, and I never really let myself grieve me, love me, be gentle and compassionate, give myself permission to want to be somewhere safe, to want to know what safety feels like in lieu of depression. I think it's very easy. It really does. I have PTSD from my trauma. I mean, look, at some point on the other side, we're going to have PTSD parties. I mean, really, we're going to get to heaven and be like, what? Your trauma off the chain? Because at the end of the day, this is not our first rodeo. We have done this so many times, which is always why we find each other, right? It's like, there are my weird people. Yes. My weird tribe. But we really do walk each other home. Each of us walk each other home. I thought losing my mom in February was going to completely stunt my spiritual growth. No, as always, my mother has me on an accelerated path to love, light, and humanity. So, losing your mom, let me tell you, woo! The most pain, the absolute most pain. So for anybody here that has and will lose their mother, aware in a human body, our souls are the shit, just saying. Because it is. I mean, I thought I knew pain. I think, like, you know, you go through a divorce. I was going to say your first divorce. That says everything, right? But you go through a divorce, and you're like, oh my God, this is horrific. And then you experience empty nesting syndrome. Oh, I'm talking about cut your heart out. But when you lose your mom, ooh, this woman, she was my bridge through all the trauma. So at some point, we have to learn how to become our own bridge. You know? And I think that's beautiful, because it's always going to connect us. Always. Because you're having to build your own bridge, and you're having to build your own bridge, and no one ever talks about it. It's all that woo-woo stuff, but whatever. Our souls ended up right here. And that's so cool, and that's how I'm going to wrap this up. We can't get this wrong, because we're going to be called to our well-being 24/7. We can make it harder by resisting. And those words were said to me by a great friend. Many of you may know her, Debbie Newtile. And when she said those to me on many occasions, I thought, woman, I don't know what vibration you have gotten to. One day I hope and pray to be there. But I don't know if I could really feel that. And I do. I just felt it. Like I did. I went off path so many times. I need a medal. But, or chip, depends on how you look at it. But, all of a sudden, I think most of us even feel better after this whole little experiment I did today with Spirit. Yay. It was only supposed to be like 5 minutes. But, Spirit will always, when we just choose to let go and click a button or change a channel or go for a walk, just that little risk of faith, of hope, of feeling good, God will always step in, will always be there, because that is what that flow is. That is the sacred womb. As I rest in the sacred womb, I heal. Just rest, be here, cry, talk about it. Get over the fact that emotions are uncomfortable. Guys, when your loved ones come through from the other side, do you think they care about making you cry? Absolutely not, but it's healing. Okay, so as we are human and we are having interactions, if you are doing this with people and it is not this experience, it's just not the right people. But you've got to be willing to hold your hand through all of it. And now your higher self is present. You're aware your higher self is present. And it's kind of like this really bumpy communion of love and self. But we get to go through it together. All right, I have to go. Oh, wait, I never did pick my blunt deck. Let's do it really quick. Bold, blunt, and direct. Okay. Ah, perfect. It says, you do you. Okay? And then we're going to flip it. And it says, stop trying to change people. That shit never works. And I think we all do this. And if it's backwards, guys, I'm so sorry I didn't flip it. But you do you. Stop trying to change people. That shit never works. Light workers, light leaders, lovers, empaths, people with a soft heart, whatever you want to call yourself. We manipulate the crap out of situations, people, places, things, including ourselves, because in our pursuit of helping, right, we really only mean well. We don't ever do something to on purpose inflict pain. But what happens, though, is we want to change situations and people to prevent that pain. And in doing so, we become controlling monsters. So that shit never works. All right, on that note, and my ex-wife is watching right now, so that was like my big apology. Also, I want to thank God, because we may not have ended up together. That was not the plan. But to a point, we both walked each other home, and I'm grateful for that. And I love this new woman, this wife. I'm not sure what you guys are going to call each other yet. I'm just in love with both of you. God always knows what God's doing. Higher power, universe, Allah. I don't care what we call it. We all need more of it. All right. Share this video. Let them call me crazy, but carry the word. I will see you at aprilroane.com. Stay sacred.